If you could just send me a picture of the insurance, is all I need. Much appreciated. Have a wonderful day.
That's
Like,
what she wrote you?
bitch, shut the fuck. No, something close to that. But like when you're thinking to yourself, like you don't even word that in your normal professional career day. You don't sound like that.
Right.
It's just extra. It's extra bitchy. I don't know. It's just like because I'd rather have you be like, listen here, asshole. Send me a photo of the insurance. That would be better for me than this like fake facade.
But it's all over after this year, right? You don't owe anything.
No,
after the end of
I
2024?
inherited.
Oh,
I took a good chunk of our debt, but in my mind, and that was in exchange for not doing alimony. I took the majority share of our debt, but it's like, even though I took probably 40 grand in total debt altogether in our entire life, even though I took
Right.
about 40 grand of it, that's nothing if I had paid her alimony until she got married again.
How many years you were married?
4 and some change.
So what's the difference? You don't have to give me salaries. What's the difference between your salary and her salary? Like, what's the difference per year?
I make probably 3 times what she does, 3 or 4 times what she does.
Okay. So in theory, alimony would be a third of that difference.
Shit.
For about 50 to 65% of your marriage.
Okay, so I've only had to pay for a couple of years. I've only would have had to pay a couple of years, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if you were only married 4 years, you probably only have like 2.5.
I mean, it'd still be over $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Fuck
I paid my ex-wife was a medical director, and I was a medical director.
It's same damn job.
Yeah, but she only worked part-time, so she was like a part-time medical director. I don't know how the fuck she got that.
That's a personal choice. How does that hurt you?
It is, because at the time when I got divorced, I was associate director and I went to a medical director, and her lawyer was like, hey, like, and I tried to impute wages to her, which is like, impute means like, you don't have to work part-time. Yeah, I'm just saying it for everybody else. You don't have to work part-time. Like, you choose to work part-time. You can work full-time like the rest of us slobs, right? If you want to, but you don't. So therefore, your income earning potential is a lot higher than what you're actually making. Because if you worked 5 days a week like everybody else in the world, you would have X amount of money. So I imputed that salary to her, and they were like, if you want to impute money to her, that's fine. But then we are going to go after your director salary instead of your associate director salary, which is a lot more money. So it was this kind of like back and forth, and her parents had a lot of money. So they were like, we'll go to court over this. And I'm like, so I talked to my lawyer. I'm like, so what do you think? And they were like, well, the judge who you have was originally was not a family law judge. He was in the corporate space, but because one of the family judges got mesothelioma and got cancer, they pulled somebody from the commercial side over to the family law side, and that's who you got. And he doesn't have any real history of taking care of these kind of cases. He doesn't have background and experience. So my lawyer is like, I have no idea how this is going to go. So you could pay all this money and go to court and end up in a worse situation, the same situation, or a better situation. And I'm like, well, I have a 2/3 chance that it's either going to be the same or worse. So I'm not going to waste my money going to court and paying like 5 figures in court costs to have the same problem.
Wouldn't you think that's kind of a shitty lawyer if he can't help you get an image? If he's like, I don't know, like, isn't it your job to kind of dig in?
I thought
figure out.
I thought I had a good lawyer. I thought I had like a really good like lawyer who's been like, he knew everybody in the county.
It's hard. It's hard to find good lawyers. It's hard to find a good lawyer that's not just full of hot air. Because I talked to a couple of lawyers when I was first going through the separation, and some of them, and I thought, okay, well, the guy that asked for the most money is probably the best. That's not true.
It's true. That's right.
Yeah. So, but even then, some of the guys I talked to were like, I don't know, it was tough. Like, there's one guy I really wanted, but he was pretty expensive and he was super busy. So he was just kind of like rush me through the process. You know what I mean? And because he said, I don't have a demanding case since we're not doing too much. So, I mean, I could have just dug my feet in the sand, but I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So, I don't know. If I was you, I probably would have been like, bitch, I thought alimony was strictly for women who had to take care of the kids and couldn't do a career. And when you have a career, how does that work? You have a career. Nothing impeded you.
I know. Historically, that's what my understanding of alimony was about. When men were the breadwinners, women were the, you know, what do they call it? The nurturers, and men were the hunters and the gatherers back in the old sociologic times. And you had to provide, and they took care of the house, took care of the kids. And I agree, like she did take care of the kids more, which is why she worked part-time. But the point is that by the time we got divorced, like my kids were able to get off at a bus stop and go home.
Right.
Like they weren't like in diapers where they needed someone to walk them. They couldn't deal with this.
Right.
But I got nailed on what is the marital standard. So this is what, like, you know, the marital standard is. So I don't know. My lawyer was like, listen, I have no idea who this guy is, this judge. I don't have any experience with him. He seems very basic, like, hey, let's just take 2/3, 1/3 of the difference in salary.
Yeah, he
and
just
that's
wants to
it.
close it out. He just wants to get
exactly, because they've got 8,000 other cases pending. You know, they just want to they just want to get them like this.
it done. That's not how law should be looked at. The law should be fresh case every person. You're playing with people's lives, you know?
No shit.
And she's like, Judge, I can't work full time because I don't want to. So therefore, I need you to make this
money.
man. Yeah, he has to give me money so I continue to be a lazy piece of shit.
Right.
That'd be fantastic. No offense to that person.
So basically, what it came down to be for me is like when my kids both went to college, I pulled the card where it says like you have a substantial change in circumstances that warrants a recalculation of alimony and child support, or at least child support. And I said, hey, listen, you know, you don't, these kids aren't living with you anymore, so I should not have to pay so much of the bills. They're like, yeah, well, they still come home. I'm like, yeah, well, they come over to my house too, so you don't have to owe anything on that.
Wait, hold on.
So basically, she must have been making more money because she, you know, I basically said, hey, listen, I'm willing to put all my finances out on the table. You can put all your finances out on the table, and we can have it recalculated based on that. I have no problem with that. And then all of a sudden she was willing to play ball. So she must have been working more than she was when the whole situation started.
Yeah.
And then she was willing to reduce what I owed her. So I got that reduced, but now I thank God don't owe any more alimony. I owe child support until my kids are out of college. And then I'm free.
You're almost free, Doc.
I'll be dead. I'll be dead by then, but
you're almost
free and dead.
Free. Hey, it's what are we on? What episode is this? Season 2 episode?
I don't even know. This is season 3 technically, right? This is January of 2024, so this is season 3, episode 1.
Right.
Has to be. You know, we only did 6 episodes last year.
It happens. It's been busy, man. It's been
a
lot going on.
We have a new company we've been working with that we started. I mean, we talked about it intermittently at times. So, you know, we're building a game. So I always have that Thanos thought where like Thanos grabs the gauntlet and says, all right, I'll do it myself. You know, it's kind of like one of those things.
Yeah.
And that is a daily adventure. And so, you know, there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah, it's a lot. And obviously with companies, there's always growing pains, and we're going through some growing pains right now. Monumental amount of work to be done.
So how's your workload going?
For the game?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God,
on a 20,000 foot view level.
I got 20,000 feet to go. I don't know.
Without the side of the airplane blowing out, if you just saw that on the news, that one.
Yeah, I did see that.
That freaked me out.
I have a lot to do. You know, like it's not so much that I don't mind doing the amount. Like, I mean, it has to get done, and
right.
And being that, you know, we want to make something quality, and additionally, we're trying in the process of making things something quality. We also come up with another solution, and that has to be built a certain way. So it's just a lot. It's a lot. I just keep reminding myself that between the 2 projects, I think we'll find a lot of success. I just wish I could work on it full time.
Is it 3 projects? You have more than one stick in the fire besides the game itself, right?
Yeah, but I only consider 2, like the game and then like all the networking stuff is the other one.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I could have any dream answered right now, it wouldn't be to like magically have it all done. It wouldn't be big paycheck, it'd be like, is there a way I could just work on this full time? If like we could get a couple $100,000 in funding and get my salary paid for the year, that way I could just work day in and day out on it without having to worry about anything else, I would be a happy man.
Don't you get afraid though? Like, think about this. Like, so say for example, like we do a crowdfunding thing, right? And we make like 150 grand, 200 grand, right? I don't know what your yearly salary is, but
it's close.
It's probably around there. But let's just say we had enough money to employ you for a year full time, like full time. Mm-hmm. Do you have enough people knocking on your door that if that freaking well ever dried up, you'd be able to fucking just transition right into something else?
Oh, absolutely. I get,
you think so?
I get 9 to 10 recruiter emails a day.
Do you really?
For jobs. Yeah. And some of them are even, corporate recruiters for like Google and Amazon and stuff. And those companies pay real well and they have a lot of benefits. But you also kind of sell your soul, which is why I don't accept them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I could get a job in a heartbeat if I really needed to. And I would make sure I have enough runway to the fact it's like, okay, I've put 11 months into this and we're not done yet and we're running out of funds. I'm going to have to find another job temporarily. I'd give myself enough money and enough time to get a job before that well ran completely dry.
Got it.
But I think, what I would like to do is either I just have the company pay me in a lump sum. Then I would go and I'd pay as many things up front, like my rent and everything just paid up front, just done and handled. And then I would just never leave my house for 12 months and, and get it done. But we're making good progress. The game is coming along fantastic. The other solution, which I would love to talk about at some point, but can't just yet. I'm more excited for that in some aspects. I'm excited for both equally. One, I'm more excited for the community response. The other one, I'm more excited for the business response. Almost got the websites done. I've been working on both of them, the main company website and the game website. I'm starting to do a lot of web development. I'm trying to get testers, you saw, for some of the solutions that we're building. And I don't think we're not gonna succeed. I think we're gonna hit. It's gonna be like a train, a heavy coal train. It's just we're chugging. We're doing that 2 miles an hour. Before you know it, we'll be speeding down the tracks and not stopping anytime soon.
I'm very, I'll be honest with you. Damon has proved himself to be he's like a Michelangelo of sorts. And this is not podcast like hot air up your ass. This is like real, because I saw some of the work, like we were talking about at one point, like hiring people to help us beautify things in the game. Right. And at one point Damon's like, no, I'm not doing it. We're not doing that. You got to let me do that. I have some some skills. I did some work in the past when I was a younger version of myself. Let me have the opportunity to Kubrick up a map, I think, as you said. And we're like, yeah, all right. Well, all right. He's an owner of the company.
Believed me.
You got to fucking give him what he wants, whatever. So
he'll throw a tantrum if we don't. So.
and he does it. And then he posts screenshots. And my jaw literally was like on the ground. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, this looks like this is AAA. This is AAA graphics. And I don't want to necessarily over exaggerate, because I'm not. It was like, you think like, all right, this is somebody who's, he's doing his first, this is not what he does on the full-time job, but he's doing this now. And like, here's what he's got. But it was like, this looks like I'm looking through a camera. He did a day and night cycle in some of the work, and it was just like, wow, does that look freaking amazing? There's birds, there's like all this stuff. And it looked like I was looking through like a real like AAA title. And right. I know that probably means like, yeah, the people out there are like, yeah, it should be a fucking AAA title. I mean, what do you want to compete?
There's only 6 of us, guys.
Right. That's the point. There's 6 and I'm like, wow, this looks really good.
Yeah, well,
really good.
Let me start by saying that was very kind and thank you. That's one of the nice things Amy's ever said to me. No, but I mean, it's not. It's. I learned. I got lucky when I was a young kid. I got to work with some people many a moons ago who are very well notable world builders now. But back then, it was all in the modding scene for Half-Life and Half-Life 4, Half-Life 2, and I got to work alongside these guys at a pretty young age. Back then, I'm like lying about how old I am, you know. But if I could get in the project, that's all that matters.
Right.
And I got a lot of just advice from some of them that stuck with me over the years about how you're building maps and how to build them and what the key ideas and in some of these things. And it's surprising, especially in Unreal Engine, it's surprising what tools are available to you if you know how to use them. And then, you know, like some of the graphics that make it look so real, they're super simple, like emitters that just emit clouds a certain way, and birds that are like these low quality birds, and you just put them in the right places with the right lighting and you get things lined up and you're good to go. And but that's one of the reasons I push back on it, because I know our team's capable. I've even outside myself, I know Joe has been doing quite a bit of cluttering work, and his on the inside looks great. I mean, I plan to maybe take some time and do some exterior work on the city part, the outside part for him. I really want to make sure there's enough trash in the street, and you know, there's birds flying around and swinging power lines and shit like that. But the biggest thing that I always remembered is that if you have some, there's so many items in the world that need to be there, and if they're there, nobody's gonna say anything. But if they're not there, people will notice it.
I agree.
It's almost like they won't notice if it's there, but they will notice if it's not. And so it's critical to have those things in there. And you know, but thank you. Yeah, no, I want our stuff to look good. I'm passionate about it. And like I told Joe and Anthony when I first was starting this project, it's like, yes, I will program the literally road to Rome level of code that we need to do. But I have one request, and that's to have some design, my foot in the design door. In the world development department. And thankfully, you know, now we got fingers in all the pie, so I get to do some creative stuff here and there. But yeah, I just love our project. I just know that we're gonna do great, and I can't wait to see everybody's opinion of things. But you know, I like you, I'm a perfectionist about things, and you know, when you know, one of the reasons why I always joke about such a temper in the projects, it's like my life's work. It's like my passion. And when you put your, when you have something that's your purpose in life or your passion, your life's work, you know, you could never be done with it. You could work on it nonstop and still feel like nothing is done. And, you know, why would anybody want to cut corners on something like that? You know what I mean? It's one of the reasons why I'm always yelling at everybody. Why is this named wrong?
As long as the final product shows the fruits of that frustration, I'm fine with that. And after seeing what you put together, I was like, all right, let him Kubrick it up. Let him do it. Give him more maps. give him all the maps.
But you know, it's for the people that don't program, that's in the same quality of that visual map and the way it looked. The way I build our systems and stuff like that is in the same aspect, the same quality level, where, you know, we're using modern design patterns and design policies and modern approaches to things, and you know, very foolproof code coverage and all these fancy terms, you know. And when we start hiring engineers, I'm going to be excited to hear some engineers we hire in the future going, wow, I can get started right away. It's built in a manner that I can pick it up and run with it, and I don't need 9 months to a year ramp up, which will be huge for us.
Right. I'm gonna ask you a question that, like, I'm just because I'm stupid non programming kind of person, but so like before this, like, you were never programming anything for the video game space, for that entertainment space, but you have a lot of your whole career is programming otherwise in other spaces. Right. So how is that transition from doing what you normally do to doing like video game entertainment programming? Is it really feel like it's that much of a change in your day-to-day stuff? Or to me, I can't be a cardiologist, right? So I can be an ER doctor. I know some cardiology, but I can't be a cardiologist.
You could do general practice though, couldn't you?
No, they don't let you do that. ER is its own specialty. It used to be that, like, internal medicine, family practice used to work in the ER, and to a very low degree that still happens, but it used to happen all the time. But ever since it became its own specialty, now they don't really want to let anybody else in.
Well, I mean, there's a bit of what I do that absolutely applies. Infrastructure and networking, and, you know, now with the cloud and trying to offload as much from original servers to the cloud environment. And so, yeah, I've been doing that for the last 5 years, cloud architecture and microservice solutions like that. But I also put my fingers in a lot of pie. You know, I really tried a lot of different. I went to the buffet and got one of each when I got in my career. Everything from shitty desktop apps to websites to cloud solutions and monolith on-premise solutions, things like that. So the biggest part really is for me on we're kind of spoiled. Unreal, the C++. I know C++ very well. I've worked in it in a very professional manner, career-wise. But when it comes to game development, you got to make sure you're doing everything as performant as possible, and just the math and the trig and the geometry that goes into making sure you're doing things right. That's where a lot of my exercise I don't have experience in. I did some computer vision work on the industrial side where I was taking pictures of these manufactured parts, these microcircuit parts with very fancy cameras, and then using those pictures with computer vision to determine if they had defects or not. So I got a lot of experience writing really fast visual component scanned and some of that geometry and the math that comes. I got good at that, but video games still is. That's a lot, man. There's a lot that, and like I always joke with the guys, like I got to the point where I was like chat GPing questions because Google couldn't get me the answers that I needed. And I spent days digging through GitHubs to find other people who have done something similar. And so, yeah, I mean, between like some of the graphics side of the video game and then the networking, even though I have a lot of experience doing networking, server client and on-premises cloud, it's different when you're talking network clients to a server, and it has to be as fast as possible, and the snapshots and making sure that the server is estimating the best between client A and client B. And there's so much, so much in between. So it's like, I guess it's like the best way to say is like, let's say you've only made log cabins or you've only made houses as a carpenter. But if you had if you had to build a skyscraper out of wood, you could do it. It's just, you have all the tools, you have the knowledge. It's a lot more of a monolithic task to take on. Yeah. But I think we've all been there. Thankfully, Unreal makes it a little easier for us. And I'm glad I have C++ knowledge, but the other side of it too is Unreal has like its own C++, and it's very different than how a normal C++ engineer would write an app. It works in its own unique way. No, a lot of stuff didn't translate. A lot of stuff I had self-taught. I had to learn. Right. But in the programming world, we look at video games as like some of the pinnacle things a software engineer can develop. Some of the most complicated things they can do.
Aren't video games considered to be the most complex of all computer software?
They're up there. I would think like MRI. Some of those crazy medical image versioning is like, there's definitely some really complex pieces of software out there, but like a video game engine, like something like Unreal Engine and what it's capable of doing and the visual graphics it's capable of presenting. Yeah, that's up there for sure. Yeah, I would say that's in the top 5 of the most complex things in the software world.
We have some software that can run through like CAT scan results with contrast and determine how big of a portion of brain is involved with a stroke, for example, and whether or not someone needs a surgery to have a clot removed from their brain to try to, this is something that they call the penumbra, which is basically like if you get a blood vessel block, like there's a certain like regional area of tissue that is affected by not having blood flow. But then there's this penumbra, which is this area that's like partially fed by a blood vessel, maybe partially fed by a secondary blood vessel at the same time. So they're both kind of sharing nutrients. And if you knock one out too long, the other vessel can't compensate forever. So there's this area of like kind of shock to tissue where like the part that's immediately right in the main blood vessel that's blocked, that's gone. But then there's like, can we try to salvage this area around that dead tissue that will die eventually? But if we get to it fast enough, we can save it. Because, they always say like, I don't know how many, I think it's like 2 million neurons per minute die or something like that per stroke. So
you can't get those
it's
back.
A high amount. No, dead is dead.
Dead is dead.
So dead is dead. So, there is a desperate amount of time to determine that. And they actually have a computer piece of software that detects diffusion or like how well the blood is still supplying the area around the dead space. And that's a very kind of complex software-based algorithm to determine that. And that helps people, doctors, decide whether or not they're going to go in and put a little tool in your brain to try to pull that clot out to restore the blood flow. So that's complicated software.
Well, yeah, software like that, though, oftentimes you have fields of engineers who are like, senior level staff engineers stacked together with a biochemist, biology, mechanical biology engineer, whatever, and then they work together and they try to figure expectation out. I saw a piece of software one time that was using brain waves and something with the way they're scanning this brain of a cat, converted it back into an image so that you could see what the cat was seeing through their eyes. I send the video to you. The software is crazy.
Yeah, send it to me.
And this is when they discovered that cats look at people, our faces look like a cat's face to them. So cats think we're just big hairless cats. Like they learned that in that moment. Yeah. And it was funny because like the person they're looking at, obviously the quality is still crazy because you're converting like brain signals and patterns to a fucking image. I don't even know how you start with that. I don't know. How do you get started on that one, but they did it. And then they're like talking about how like all of a sudden they can see that the cat is starting to see people as other cats. And I was like, the fact that we were able to take that data, run it through software and be able to see what something looks like through another creature's eyes is scary. That
is scary. Impressive scary.
There's a lot of crazy software out there, but there's some crazy medical stuff. You seen those brain organoids? Those weird organoids. It's like they took skin tissue or something, they reprogrammed it to be neurons, and it makes these little circular balls that gives them two little eyes. They're made of they're like human brain material. They call them brain organoids. So I'll send you a picture on it.
Send me this. I haven't read this yet.
And they were freaked out because when they made this, because apparently the problem with doing petri dish brains is that you need the vascular structure in there to feed them because they can only live. They only get to a certain size where they can't self-sustain on the medium that they're growing in. But they made these little organoids grew, and then they literally built little eyeballs that can detect light, and then they put it on some mouse's brain, and like it took over and fixed an issue. And I don't know. I'll send you a video on it, but I'm like, dude. They made it learn to play Pong. You're like, that thing's probably sentient. You know what I mean? It grew eyeballs on its own.
Dude. The stuff, like when you talk about the AI stuff, some of the AI stuff that's out there is pretty creepy. And then you have like stuff like this, and then, you're determining like what's sentience, what's not. Like that's going to be, I think, the next big ethical debate over the next like 25 years. Is going to be like, what is considered alive? What's considered, all this is based on Star Trek, by the way. There was a Star Trek, the next generation episode where they talked about Data, and he was an android, but is he sentient? And how could you prove that? And like, you're going to run into these kind of things where people and machines and these little type of pieces of tissue and like, do they have rights? And then it goes into this ethical thing. It's going to be crazy. I'm hoping I'm dead by then. I don't want to deal with it.
Honestly, Doc, if we could come up with a way to live another 100 years, I want to live another 100 years.
Do you really?
I want to see the next millennia. Well, I'm kind of on the crazy conspiracy theorist mindset with Elon Musk about AI. I think we need to be very careful.
He has been on many interviews saying like heed my warning.
We need to cool down. Yeah, we need to relax on the AI a little bit. And I'm excited for, what we can, accomplish with it. But, you give something too much power. I don't know. You better make sure it's using a traditional like wall plug that you can just yank,
pull it, and that's it.
Yeah. I'll be damned if we have to go through Skynet in real life.
I know, right?
So
John Connor.
I'm trying to find this article for you. They're all the same, but I couldn't find one with the picture. Anyways, yeah.
That's pretty freaking screwed up, though. As you can see, we don't always... Oh, you just sent it to me. We don't always, we don't pre-prepare on some of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is freeform. So, Dan will bring up stuff, and I'll bring up stuff that the other one has never heard of before. And that's part of the allure of the podcast.
That's what they look like. The second picture, the eyeballs.
Right. I'm clicking on this. Oh, man. Look at that.
And
they do look like eyeballs. Look like little Pac-Man.
They are. They're actual eyeballs. something about the neuron structure built these eyeballs that could actually detect photons, just like dark and light and dark.
Oh, they have a bunch of them that have it. That's messed up. Is that the article you sent me? Lab grown brain cells play video game Pong. There you go.
Yeah, that's just one of them. Here's
was
here's
Pong
this
made by
one.
Steve Jobs? Oh no, Breakout was made by Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Steve Jobs is in everything, Doc. Apple lover. Just kidding. Apple makes good phones.
Yeah, look at the eyes on these
stuff.
brain organoids. Stem cells.
It's crazy,
Yeah, stem
right?
cells are crazy. So stem cells are supposed to be basically like, first of all, like if you think about it, like think about like brain tissue, cardiac tissue, bone tissue, GI tissue, right? They're all very specialized stuff, but they all had to come from a precursor that was all the
Some
same,
blank
right?
template, a generic cell.
Right. So that the stem cells is trying to go backwards in embryology to where you get to where these tissues will sub-specialize into these things. And they're hoping to like cure paralysis with stem cells. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff they're working on with stem cells. But you know, it's kind of like just basically reverse engineering basic embryology to just fix a problem and say, hey, you'll just make the kind of cells you need. So let's just go play around in here and you'll just like make whatever we need.
A lot of people claim by like the injections and stuff for back problems. You know, so I mean, I hope that someday we can fix, you know, really solve a lot of these issues for people, you know, fix people's pancreas and livers. And like I said, if I could find a way to live, you know, they're doing a bunch of research now for life longevity. They discovered a way to increase a mouse's lifespan by 30%. Something with the proteins on the end of DNA to help replication.
Telomeres.
Yeah,
Probably telomeres.
There's something about expanding those, and I don't know.
Telomeres are interesting. Telomeres are like, if you look at a chromosome, at the ends of the chromosome usually looks like a big X, right? It has like all these wrapped pieces of DNA and it looks like an X. At the end of each of those things are something called telomeres. It's basically a bunch of nonsense genetic code that doesn't really do anything. But usually if there's going to be an error in something, it's because you've clipped off some of that telomere and slowly like whittle into the actual genetic code that is important. If you could expand those telomeres to where there's enough genetic material nonsense so that these different processes in the body that whittle them away don't cut into the DNA that's really important to make proteins that we actually need to survive. The thought is that will actually prolong life.
It was something else though. It wasn't just the telomeres. It was something else. There was something else that I don't know. There's like some software engineer, like with the net worth of like $1 billion, who's just mindlessly dumping money in like age reduction. He's got like the blood boy. His son is like 17, is doing those plasma transfusions. Really? Yeah, and he claims by those too.
I saw that article.
There's nothing that says it's good, but there's nothing that says it's. Doctors are just like, well, you know, we probably didn't think it does anything, but it's like, I don't know. I would think if you're taking the blood of something younger, it'd probably be pretty good on your soul. Think about all the stuff in his blood needed. I don't know. I am not a doctor.
And it's his son's. It's his son's, right? So it's genetically compatible. Because usually if you put anything in your body that belongs to somebody else, like your body will find it as foreign and try to kill it. So this has to be genetically similar.
I had a different blood type than my mom. So my mom's, I'm like O pos and she's O neg, or it's, I don't know. I always and like we're flipped around.
Usually
so
O neg mothers need extra medicine to not like kill the baby's blood.
Yes, that's it. Then I'm O positive, which is a weird flip.
Positive is the most common type of, there's more positives than negatives.
Right.
But like, you know, your dad must have been positive. So your mom was negative, so that if she ever had bleeding during pregnancy, there's a chance that her blood, which is negative, meaning it doesn't have a certain protein on it, would encounter your blood that's positive and does have a protein on it. And your mother would say, this blood is foreign to me. Let's kill it. So then they would kill your blood and you would die. Rogan. Yeah.
Yes. I don't. Yeah. It's probably something like
That's what
that.
it
I
is.
know that. But yeah. Sorry about the camera thing.
That's okay. That's all right. You look fine.
It's dying.
But
I
man,
have it plugged in, but it doesn't charge fast enough for some reason.
you're using your iPhone, right? Your Apple product.
I like my Apple stuff. The camera's fantastic. It's a great camera because I was looking at buying like fancy Wi-Fi cameras and stuff, but like this has phenomenal quality and it does great. And I'm repurposing something.
What? Oh, so this isn't your daily driver. This is just an extra iPhone you have laying around.
Yeah, this is my daily driver.
Which,
yeah, that's
which
like
iPhone are you recording
12,
with? A 10? A 12?
12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's
something
pretty
like
good.
that. Maybe it's a 10. It might be a 10. I don't know, but it does good. It's like actually, I think that one's a 10 because I had a 12 and I gave that to my lady to use as a business phone.
Yeah.
You know,
I was so frustrated because, I bought the Mac M3 MacBook Air, like the little thin one, because I bought a studio to do the video editing on, and I thought, well,
for the record, guys, Doc doesn't give me any of his electronics for free. He doesn't give me anything fun. This man buys $1,000, and I don't even think I even got like.
Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money I'm gonna? Do you know how much money I'm gonna write off in taxes next year because of stuff I bought for ED.Gamer, this, and the game company?
How much?
Guess how much money? I have receipts.
25 and some change.
17,000.
Ooh, that wasn't too far off.
$17,000. I'm like, I can't believe I spent so much money on shit last year.
I'm able to write off a little bit. I did a bunch of some computer hardware fixes, and I've had to buy a bunch of software suites, and the trip to New York, and I'm able to like I had to take a couple trips to Colorado, and since the company's in Colorado, I can claim those, and so we'll see what mine ends up being. But I'm hoping to get hoping the government can give me a couple of them sweet dollars.
You're supposed to get what, like 33 cents back down on the dollar on average? If you claim,
I've owed every month. I've owed every year for the last 4 years.
Oh,
not owe much. I've always owed like just a couple $100, which I've always been told is breaking even. But
that means you're not giving the government a lot of money out of each check.
I'm not giving them enough. Yeah, but
Right.
I'd rather owe $300 than give the government a free loan for $4,000.
I get it, but in my particular mentality, there is something beneficial about like if you don't have it, you can't spend it. And then finally you get it back, and then it's like, oh, look at, I got all this money. I'm getting 5 figures back.
Let me just say, I have since fixed that though, so I have been giving a little more. I took like a less of a deduction, and now I have to file signal. I wonder what that's going to do for me. So
I sent you my guy's info.
Yes, I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him.
He got me double of what I was getting from my previous accountant.
Does he take a big chunk from me, or is he pretty reasonable?
What do you pay a month? What do you pay per tax now?
What do you mean? I just do it myself.
Oh, so you don't pay an accountant at all?
No, because my ex-mother-in-law was CFO for HC or whatever, so I just let her do it because she'd be like, "Did you sneeze at 3:00 on a Tuesday in the middle of March?" And you're like,
Maybe.
That's all I need, and get you money back. I have no idea what you would do, but since that woman hates me now,
I think it costs less than $1,000.
Oh, that's not okay.
But my point was, you've doubled my refund, so I have no problem paying that.
Well, I got a couple tax with the divorce and stuff. I was going to hire him anyways because I want to start doing some wealth management too, and start with getting my taxes in order.
It's funny you said that because I just went to Fidelity like 4 days ago.
That's my brokerage, Fidelity. Yeah, they're good.
I went to an appointment and I'm like, listen, I've got money in this, I got money in that, I got money in this. And he did this whole like calculation and said like, with Social Security, if I retire, I should be good. Like to maintain the same lifestyle that I have now and just have that money.
Right.
Social Security plus whatever you have in investments and retirement. So I should be good. But I don't have the time to go through and buy this mutual fund, sell this mutual fund, get this stock. I'll dabble, but
I'll day trade for you, Doc, if you want.
You do? Are you good at it? What's your return?
Oh, I used to love day trade. I think last year I had a 30% return or something.
Did you really?
Not last year. I'm sorry. The year I bought the motorcycle. Why did I say last year? The year I bought the motorcycle. Some of the reasons why I bought the motorcycle is because I I made a lot of money from playing with it, but I also leveraged COVID, and not many of those scenarios present themselves on their regular to kind of leverage against.
Right.
And
I bought cruise ships and airlines.
I bought hospitals.
Did you really? I bought that because everything went to shit, and I'm like, they'll go back eventually. I just gotta just hold on to them.
My claim to fame was buying HCA at $74 or something, and then after COVID, it was like $250.
Wow.
So that went up. That was a lot. That was a pretty big growth. That, and yeah, I did. I also jumped on the GameStop bandwagon for a minute, but I have a 3%. I got a 3% rule. So once I make a bit of money, I'm not going to gamble. I'm just going to cash out and move forward. And actually, the way I actually played GameStop is I played the options on GameStop. I played options going up, and then I started playing options going down because people were so desperate that it was still going to go back up that you could get options, assuming it's going to fail and they fail anyways. And you get, you never execute options. If you do, you're an asshole, but you trade those options well. And yeah, so I made some money on up and down on that one.
That's awesome.
Cruise ships, airlines. Yeah,
that was awesome. I bought a lot of Norwegian because we were talking before. I think before we started recording about the Norwegian cruise, we're probably going to go on. But if you have, I think if you have 100 shares of stock or something like that, you get like a couple $100 per cruise, free spending money. You just send them the form and just say, hey, listen, here's my my piece of paper. It shows I'm an investor. Here's how much stock I have. And then they just put it on your account when you get on the board. I have Norwegian. I have a lot of Ford. I bought Ford really cheap. How's Ford doing?
Ford's pretty good. They're pretty good right now. They always fluctuate a couple bucks in a way, but Ford's a high dividend share. So if you can get enough of Ford, they pay you pretty comfortably. My biggest loss though was fucking Intel. I played it wrong. I played it expecting that the 13th gen would come out. I'd make some money. Then I thought they'd fuck up because they always do, and I'd play the down, but I didn't time it right. So I just got shit on left and right. It was not good. But I haven't got to, with everything going on, I haven't got to really sit and do anything. I've kind of let everything sit, and I need to get back at it and play.
That's the problem. That's the problem. It's like you can give somebody for, I think it's like 0.8%, depending on how much you have. They'll take 0.8% per year, and which is like, to me, is like a good deal because they make money if you make money. So they have but their desire to do well.
But the thing is to them, they want it's your numbers on paper, but they're the ones taking tangible cash home. You're usually never taking tangible cash home.
Right.
So to them, they want to keep liquidating that tangible cash out of you while putting your fairy dust in a fairy account somewhere. And that's plus, I hate to say it, but all day trader stuff, they can read charts and make really good guesses. Right. And so why can't, I'll learn to do I know it takes time, but I think if ADS takes off, and I'll probably have a couple big screens in the office that I could sit back and take an hour in the morning to trade.
To trade before the workday starts.
Sorry, before the workday starts. Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked, that's exactly what I asked the guy at Fidelity. I'm like, so listen, let me ask you this question, because this is like, no offense, but like, what's the difference? I can just I've made double on my stock that I have right now. I didn't do anything. I made double. So why should I pay you to do, what's the data that says that what you do is going to make me more money than what I do?
Yeah. How are you going to help me?
And he sent me, I have to read it. He sent me an article that says that they make like 2 to 5% more than the average person.
On a good day.
Yeah.
When inflation's not up your butthole. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's what they say. So
I don't know. I mean, if I was doing more, if I had more asset, if I had more money to do like aggressive day trading, I could see where maybe I'd want somebody who can be more on it 24/7, because I don't want to be a day trader.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind getting to the point where, like, okay, I know I want to get up in the morning. I hit the office 5:30, get myself booted up, markets open, fucking short sell Tesla until it's done, make a couple $100, go on with my day. I mean, that's usually the way I've always liked to do it. And, it's a little supplemental here and there.
Yeah.
But I'll get back to that once I'm out of divorce sludge.
Speaking of bad decisions.
Oh God.
You obviously we talked about the day before.
Oh, that piece of shit.
Could you fucking believe that?
When I bought it and I jumped in, and at first I was like, wow, I'm impressed. The graphics are good. The game runs pretty well. There was obviously some serious bugs out the gate, but even with looking those aside, I was very impressed by like the starting area and the missions and the gear and the gun. Well, not impressed, but I was like happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got out into the world and I realized this isn't fucking open world. This is sectional arenas, and hit reg is dog shit, and there's so much server lag. And I got killed by two guys I couldn't see, and the third guy I shot, and he looked like he died on my screen, and then I died. And then he like showed back up, and I was like, nope, you can't proceed. It's not that I am that upset about dying to a guy. It's just you can't proceed in a game where that's, you know, how you can't beat that.
Right.
It's a luck of the dice. So I returned it, and I'm glad I did, because a lot of people couldn't get refunds.
Yeah. I bought it. I never played it. I never installed it, but I was working the day that it came out, and I heard like the upslope of like happiness and oh my god, and then all of a sudden people are like, hey, wait a minute, and then it got bad, and then I heard you like, I've already returned it, it sucks, and then like went back down, and then of course like what, 2 days later, 3 days later, it fucking shuts down.
In the beginning, they show you some really cool shit. Like you go through like the starting area, which is well made. It's pretty. A lot of people running around. Once you fight through the door, you have to hit F to open the door 1,200 times, and then they'll hit the right one and let you get through. But like they have you set up your little tent, because they have that zone where like you make your little tent, you can put your bed. I was like, this is fucking dope. I can do furniture and shit. I can make a little hideout.
Feng Shui.
And I was like, okay, yeah. So then I get the missions, and I go out into the world, and then I realize that everything else is just stupid, you know. And you know, I gave it a lot. I gave it quite a bit of love before I returned it. But then I ended up returning it, and I'm glad I did, because, like I said, they went bankrupt, basically, like dissolved the brand in real time.
The whole company.
And just took a bunch of people's money, which is, they're lucky they didn't get sued.
I think they will. I think a class action will come out. But I mean, they had said, and I don't know how well that went, because I know, like, you know, I think it was 72 hours after it came out, they're like, yeah, we can't sustain this, we're shutting down. And I'm not sure how, you know, speaking as somebody who's now in the industry, yeah. But I say that, I still laugh to myself. But the point is, the point is like, I don't think anybody with half of a business mind, and that there's a team to Fantastic, right? There has to be a team, and they know like if this goes bad, what are we going to do? If this happens, what are we going to do? Like there has to be some planning based on that. And it doesn't seem like there was really anything. And then all of a sudden, you know, they were the #1 rated game on Steam, wish listed game on Steam.
Yeah.
Right. And then you go from that to like the biggest disaster probably on Steam in 72 hours. And if no one has ever seen anything like that.
I think they tried to recover some of the game, and then they realized that it's probably not going to hold, so they just tried to make it a very shiny pump and dump.
And then, of course, they say something. I remember they released a statement saying, you know, we're sorry, we're going to shut down. We're going to use the money to pay off our debtors. It's like, basically, you're not going to get your money back for like playing for 3 days. And then finally, they were able to get some money. And then they wrote something on Twitter that people who wanted their money back could fill something out and get it back. But you know that like not everybody's going to go through with that. But the point is did it really, I don't know if it's really happened. I don't know if people have really been getting their money back or not.
I mean, if you sue a class action against a limited liability company like that and they're out of money, I mean, they start taking your lawn chairs and shit, you know, I mean, I think
an LLC is supposed to protect your personal assets.
But if you don't have any business assets left, what happens?
Oh, well.
Yeah, right.
I think that's what happens. Oh,
well, yeah, I think it was a shiny pump and dump. I think they picked it up and they tried to make it looking good, and they were hoping either A, it would maintain enough quality and growth that they could fix the big issues and maintain runway, or it would fail and they'd try to make it last just long enough so they could get everything dissolved and say, you know, get enough money in, then dissolve, you know.
The writing was on the wall. I think they said right before they launched, like, please don't accuse us of scamming you. And I think that was like before they even opened the doors.
Maybe you shouldn't have bought that stupid ad. I mean, they bought that ad in Times Square. It's a pump and dump. It was a pump and dump.
That's expensive.
Was good marketing fuck yeah, it was good marketing. It's investments to get many people to buy it as possible and then dump it. That's what they did.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. I wanted that to be good. I was so looking forward to playing it.
Goddamn,
I was going to
well,
play the shit out of that.
It was like Russian and Chinese companies.
We wanted to. We even said like we thought about like trying to offer to buy it off them, and like let's be the game company that fixes the day before. That would get us some press.
I bet you we get it for free.
I'll give them $100, $99.99.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a firm handshake for that hot garbage. Yeah, I mean, of course the team was like, well, maybe we should get some notoriety first before we do that. Like, no, we don't want to give anybody any expectation. So anything we release is better than what that was,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hot garbage. Sorry if you didn't get your money back on that.
Yeah, hopefully some people did.
The day before is a good example of why we're doing what we're doing with ADS, and why one of the solutions we have that we're coming out with that's not just for the game. It's another product that we're working on building is to help solve, because we're tired of seeing that. We're tired of seeing low quality games with bad infrastructure, and we're here to solve that. So
right. There's a lot of things outside of the game itself that can make the game bad.
Yep.
And that's probably might be even a bigger problem in the gaming industry than the creativity side itself.
Right. Well, then hopefully when we sell our great solution, we can turn the pockets of EA inside out and take all their money, and then we'll give back to the investments to the community. That's the plan.
Great. No, 20 years later, somebody will dig this up on the web and hold us to these statements. Hopefully it works out that way. We want it to work out that way. As long
as none of us become money grubbing, what do they say? Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts all. Right?
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Yeah. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Well, nobody becomes multi-billionaires in the gaming industry.
No. Have you seen any of the CES stuff that started popping out today?
No, I'm catching up on it. You had messaged me about NVIDIA's new cards and Asus stuff, and I started reading about it. And I'm going to watch a couple videos tomorrow while I'm at work, getting caught up in everything. Because what our community doesn't know is that I got really sick last week, and so I've just been kind of dead to the world. I've been watching like model train videos or something. I don't even know how I got to that side of YouTube.
The rabbit hole of YouTube. Have you did you ever actually get tested?
Yeah, I bought COVID test. It wasn't COVID.
So you probably had like flu or RSV
something. I don't know.
Like
I didn't. Yeah, it was weird. It's over. Thank God. Yeah. Now I can play Tarkov without because I was having physical suffering and digital suffering. Now I can just have digital suffering. So.
Great. Vicks, a wad of Vicks up each nostril and try to play.
Yeah, exactly.
The ERs have been absolutely overwhelmed, because I've never seen, in the 20 years I've done this, I've never seen flu, COVID, and RSV like all out at the exact same time.
Crazy right now.
Yeah, RSV usually only affects children. I mean, RSV has historically.
My lady's parents got RSV.
Yeah, it's historically a kid's virus. We get it. We get laryngitis. We get a cough. Okay, no big deal. But the last 2 years of RSV have been like hitting adults significantly, and that these things have different strains and there's different virulence levels of how sick they get you.
Right.
But the last 2 years for RSV have been shitty. I mean, I've transported a number of little kids to pediatric ICUs with them, and then on top of that, people with people with obesity, people with asthma, people with COPD, people with low immune systems, people with cancers. They get this stuff and they're freaking like,
that's it,
out.
Yeah.
They have to be hospitalized. They're like deathly ill.
Well, I know when my lady's parents got RSV, they were worried because her dad ended up getting pneumonia too. They're like, you guys are lucky you recovered the way you did, because some people don't recover through that at your age. Yeah.
The older you get, the harder it is.
I got 30 years to still beat shut my body. I don't know when we're gonna do another one, guys. It's been so hard with time. Doc is way more on top than I am. I'm the one who's like, I'm so tired. Which again, I always say I feel bad saying to Doc, because I know he works an incredibly hard job. But with the business taking up so much time, and I'm trying to play a little Tarkov this wipe.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to do some streaming on the channel, because I know I got some HD videos that get some views on there. I got a funny VR train game I want to play, and then buddy Kevin has this game called The Break-In, where it's VR burglary. So I think I'm gonna stream that one with Tap, Tap and Dak. Should be fun.
Dak got a headset?
Yeah, Dak bought a headset. Yeah.
What did he get?
Oculus 2.
Did he really?
Yeah,
cool.
He likes it a lot. So
Yeah,
we were
let me know when you're gonna play.
I played Ghost of Debord.
Yeah, I want to break.
He sent me a picture of like two dudes in all black trying to shove a TV through like a window in VR, and I was like, this is fantastic. So look it up. Look it up on Steam. Look at The Break-In.
Is the name? It's called The Break-In.
The Break-In. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out. There's so many fucking weird VR games. It's like, hey, let's make spaghetti in VR. You know, there's all these weird things.
There's some really exciting ones coming out in this year coming up. I'm excited. Look forward to getting a Steam VR headset in the next couple of months.
What do you think about the Apple VR headset?
If it was PC compatible, I think it'd be great. But I think they're not gonna give that. So
I'm concerned. It's supposed to pre-orders actually start next week. Delivery, I think, is February 2nd. I think I just saw today. So my big beef with Apple VR is very simple. VR is about entertainment and experience. And yeah, they got the experience portion right. I actually heard that like when you're looking at the Apple VR headset, it tracks your pupil location or your eye location. So you basically just have to look at something and then blink and then it opens it. Right. So that's pretty cool. It takes a tremendous amount of computing power and a tremendous amount of cameras to determine that.
But it's only connecting to Apple products. It's not going to link with PC and other consoles and stuff for the entertainment aspect.
Exactly. And I'm expecting them to like have some sort of magic answer to that because...
Well, we're releasing Apple VR games. Yay!
Right. Well, there's not really anything there. But I mean... Yeah. The point is like you need okay. So you want to look at photos in 3D. You want to do 3D movies, whatever. You want to watch a
yeah, but the big head's on your face. It makes
you want to make it look
enjoyable.
like you're watching like the NBA finals, like on Antarctica, whatever, right?
Right.
But the point is like where is the interactive entertainment like besides watching a whale float around your house?
Because they don't have controllers or anything. It's all in the headset. So yeah.
So. Well, it'll be interesting to see, but I mean, I think they have some very good technology, but I'm not sure. I think that when you see that Apple was doing this stuff with like how to port PC games over to Mac, they were writing like Cyberpunk in OS 10. They have this intermediary layer that converts like x86 to Apple Silicon commands.
Yeah, the risk.
Right. If they do that well, like could they potentially pull in all the VR shit too?
Yeah, they have to have controllers.
Yeah, that would be a thing. It'd be hard to do it with just your hands.
I don't know. I'm gonna go Steam VR. Doc sold me a dying Oculus 2, so I'm gonna have to buy Steam VR. No, I'm gonna buy Steam VR anyways. I want the higher quality image from it, and I like the controllers better.
Don't you have to have the room? Is that like a HTC Vive where there was like you need to have the things set up in your room, like the sensors?
Well, we're gonna go to a house after this.
When's that happening?
In June.
This
we
year?
might actually, this year, or March.
Where? Texas or Colorado?
No. I want to go back to Colorado, but her parents are buying a home in Tennessee, and due to some stuff because they own cabins up there. Mm-hmm. They own cabins in the Great Smokies, and so her parents are trying to buy a house out there. But due to the way the house market is, they want us to rent her childhood home. They want us to rent it out to us. It's got like 4 or 5 acres. It's a nice little house. It's not little. It's huge. They want to rent it out to us for a year or so to buy them time to do everything for the market. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you give me the right discount, I'm sure.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So we'll see.
That's awesome.
As long as it doesn't affect my Steam VR purchase. I'm just kidding.
Right. I'm supposed to be moving at the end of summer as well.
Where are you going?
We'll see. I think we're gonna. It's funny. Colorado. We probably out into PA. The thought was it's funny. Like we were talking about like how this house in Pennsylvania. That's where I work right now.
Yeah, it's fair.
So the house prices in this area have gone up substantially, and there's no inventory in this area. And I just put like real. You can go on Zillow and you can say, hey, this is my house. You can look it up and you can claim that house. And if you can provide some information that shows that you own the house, then you can edit the info on the house. So I actually went into Zillow. I added a bunch of internal photos thinking like, eventually we're going to sell it. We're going to set it up. I'll do a walkthrough with my high def camera.
People are showing up to buy it from you right now. They're like, it's your door.
I'm not shitting you. That's exactly what happened. Last week, a person came up and there was a letter attached to our mailbox. And we opened it up and say, hey, just letting you know, we saw your house on Zillow. Now, it doesn't say it's for sale or anything. We saw the photos. This is my wife's dream house. If you ever think that you want to sell this house, please contact us. And here's our phone number.
Well, what you guys don't know is Doc's gonna lease his house to me on a 20-year contract, and fuck that guy and his wife's dream house. Well, my lady was obsessed with your kitchen. She talked about your kitchen for like a week straight after that. Yeah, because she was like, "It's my dream kitchen. It's so big. My god, yeah, she cooks. She likes to kitchen. Yeah, she wants a kitchen to do more cooking in, more active stuff. But she was like, it's amazing. She's like, I don't know what else I do with the rest of the house, but I love the kitchen.
The kitchen is nice.
It's a very nice house. It's a very nice house.
But we'll see, because we'll hopefully get our asking price for that, and then buy a New Jersey shore house. So we have a boat. We'll call it ABS.
Jersey Shore and Docks in the summer.
Hey oh hey.
Hey oh hey.
Look, I'm walking here, and then we'll do the PA probably like a townhouse. The kids will be in college. I have 4 kids in college. Don't need all the space.
No.
A waste of money.
You got any New York pictures you're gonna put up at the end of this podcast video?
We can put a couple up. Yeah, we got together. It was the first time we met Joe. Joe is our CEO, and we've known Joe for a long time, but the first time we actually got to touch Joe.
He goes, I hate you for how big you are. I'm big in a lot of ways that you shouldn't be hating for, Joe.
We went to a nice speakeasy, had some good drinks.
That was awesome. Right? That was a cool experience. Yeah.
And we went out for dinner. It was great. We had a good time.
It was a great time. Yeah.
I was glad everybody got together.
I want to do it again. I want to do it again because I want to go to some fancy high skies, I wanted like a high rise rooftop lounge. I want to go to. So
we could do that. You just got to go not in the winter.
That would probably be the way to go. So, but we're definitely
gonna
do some more traveling. I'm excited to get some. I've never wanted to travel more than ever in my life, and so I'm sure.
So if we do the cruise, we'll have some photos there. Maybe we'll do a cruise podcast.
That'd actually be pretty cool on the deck. That'd be nifty.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
You got to get a captain's hat. I have
I'll do the douche update down, like half visor hat or whatever.
You go the ascot.
Yeah. What do they call those? The things that hold your glasses?
No, I know what you mean. I don't know what they're called, but yeah.
What the heck are they called? Croquis or something? With my Sperry's, it'll be good.
Shorts that have lobsters on, that'll be great.
I do have little pink sharks on mine. Yeah,
do you really?
Funny. Yeah.
My wife wants me to get those so bad, and I won't get them.
I got a pair of Hoochie Daddy shorts too. I was telling the lady, like, you behave and wear these Hoochie Daddy shorts out of the deck, and get all the women, get all the older moms. But we'll get some pictures of that too. So look forward. I don't know if you will, but maybe we'll put some pictures.
We'll throw some stuff up.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, it's at about an hour. That's how long we like to keep these because extended podcasts are like, people have short attention spans, but hey, we don't care. We don't do it for that.
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. Till next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.